Alright. We are in the KEANUVERSE once again. I'm trying to even out between the two. So we have Henry's Crime, which the premise I read was very misleading. It's not what I thought it was. So let me... What do you think when I tell you this? Henry's Crime is about a man wrongfully convicted of a crime he did not commit. He was told that he and some friends were going to a baseball game, play baseball, but it turns out, a baseball game, whatever, that they're actually going to rob a bank. He's sitting in the getaway vehicle, and he is arrested and does not incriminate anyone else. After 18 months in incarceration, he gets out and decides, well, you know, I did the time, might as well do the crime, right? Sounds like your standard heist film. That's not it at all. And the funny thing is that stop it. Actually, I was going to do The Devil's Advocate next. That movie is almost 2.5 hours long. And I thought I was going to be bored with that, so I decided not to do that one. So I saw this one and thought it looks like a good premise, a good heist movie. It's a heist movie, but it's very slow paced, and that... I think I have one of these. So, the film stars Keanu Reeves, of course, as Henry. As mentioned, he's in a getaway car when a crime is committed, and he is put away for the charges, which I don't think that could actually happen. I know he doesn't give away. He's sitting in a car. So what if you're just sitting in a car outside a bank when it's being robbed? They can just come up to you and say, hey, you're in on this. You're going to jail. What if you're sitting in the car waiting for someone else? How did they know he was in on it? It makes no sense. But he goes to jail and doesn't tell anyone anything. Well, then there, 5 months into his sentence, his girlfriend, played by Judy Greer, who I don't really care for, to be honest, she breaks up with him and says she's fallen in love with someone else. And he's understanding, I guess. He says, well, as long as you're happy. Which, I mean... Well, then there, he meets Max, played by James Caan. And I guess James Caan keeps getting going up for parole, but he keeps saying things so that he stays behind when he get released. After 18 months of his sentence, he is set free. Henry is. And he goes to his girlfriend's house to get his stuff. And finds out that the guy she's with is actually one of the guys who's trying to rob the bank. His name is Joe. Joe's like, hey, thanks for not incriminating me, telling him my name. He's like, I don't know your name. Yeah, sure you do. It's Joe, you know. So eventually, Henry decides he's going to rob this bank and get the money, you know. If he already did the time, might as well do the crime, right? So, he makes a deal with Max, and Max gets parole to get out of prison so they can rob this place. Now, first of all, they end up realizing they need more people, so they bring in Joe, because Joe needs money, because Judy Greer's character, she's pregnant, of course, so there's that. So, in order to get to this bank, they need to go into this theater and be able to dig at a certain area in there. So, Henry starts working there, and he ends up falling for Julia, played by Vera Farmiga. And she ends up finding out about it in the end, and then comes trouble. That being the character Eddie, who was responsible for Henry going to jail. He shows up and he wants to help because I guess Joe drunkenly told him about it. So they're all in it. When the big night comes, they get the money out. During this performance of the Red Orchard, I guess it's called, they're also performing, and I guess he goes back and forth between looking, see how they're doing. Once they get all the money out, Eddie turns on them. He shoots Henry in the leg, and he wants to take all the money. Well, they leave him behind because they're able to fight him off. Joe stands up for him, and they go to take off, and Henry's like, no, no, no. Stop the car. Can't stop the car. It's a getaway car. Stop the car. So he goes back, and on the stage, he confesses his love for Julia, and after a little push and pull action, they do get back together. This movie, and it ends there actually, this movie was fine. Not at all what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be, the last two films in this KEANUVERSE have tricked me. I thought that Brotherhood of Justice was going to be like an action film, because that's what the poster implied with the way they had Keanu Reeves and Kiefer Sutherland on there. Not at all what it was. And then this one, I thought was going to be some kind of cool heist film. There's aspects of that in a heist film, but it's more of a romantic comedy. And it's very slow paced. It's a slow paced romantic comedy that kind of just goes and goes and goes and doesn't really have a high speed. There's a real pacing issue with this. Just so slow. And it's only an hour and a half. That's an hour shorter than a Devil's Advocate. But this feels so slow. Just so slow. I tell you what. It's not a bad film. I actually kind of enjoyed it. But you could tell. This came out in 2010, 2011. I find conflicting reports on that. But it comes out one of those 2 years. And that is during the time that Keanu Reeves was in sort of a slump of his career. Before John Wick, skyrocketed him. I even count Knock Knock as part of that slump, even though it came out after John Wick, technically, because John Wick came out in 2014, and this came out. But they were filming just before John Wick was going to, during the time he just, filming John Wick and stuff. So, who knows. But, yeah. It's slow paced. Keanu Reeves' performance in this, too, is a little, beginning of this film, it's just like he's sitting his way through it, for lack of a better term. He's not really saying much. He doesn't really say much for this entire film. Here and there he does. When he does really get going, he gets going. Like when he comes out on the stage to give Julia's affection back, he does a very good job. He does have some background in Shakespeare, so. But it's very methodical and slow paced. Vera Farmiga, James Caan, they do, and even Peter Stormare to a point, which Peter Stormare and Keanu Reeves were also in Constantine together. They help, boost Keanu's performance a little bit, especially when you have Vera Farmiga and Keanu Reeves together. They have chemistry, not a whole lot, but there's something there. It's something there. It wants to happen, but just, Vera Farmiga's pretty good. James Caan is alright. I just think that this was I don't know. It's during that time where Keanu wasn't giving out his best performances yet. John Wick is what started propelling him to bigger heights, and this wasn't in that time frame yet, so it's the lull period, but I think it's a decent film. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I think it's decent. I do recommend you watch it. I think it's a decent, good film. But not an Oscar winner or anything, but it's a decent one. So what are your thoughts on Henry's Crime? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.